Good evening. It's Thursday, February 22nd, 2018. And oh yeah, that was a little bit of a stinker. The Sharks lose 7-1 over the Nashville Predators. But we have a show to do, and we welcome you to this therapy edition of Teal After Dark. We do this after every game, and of course, if you want to be part of the show, do so using the YouTube chat on the page or the app. You can also hit us up on the Twitter machine using the hashtag TealTownUSA, along with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, and the YouTube. Hi, everyone. I am Eric Curra. You can always follow me at Puckguy14 on the Twitter and Instagram. But first, before we get further along, we have a check-in, probably our furthest check-in ever. We say hello to the lovely, the talented, look at that big smile, from Miss Rocket Backhander. How are you, hon?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yes,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Hello! I'm reporting from Bridgestone Arena post-defeat. Oh, well, it happens, you know. But, I mean, you gotta wonder if when you get the announcement that your backup goaltender is playing against the leading team in the Central Division, and then you throw Eric Fair and Yannick Hansen into the lineup, do you really think anything good is going to happen? And if you do, you're wearing bigger teal tinted glasses than I am, buddy, because I really thought this was going to happen. And hey, guess what? It did. So no big surprises here. Still a big, proud Sharks fan, but I definitely think tonight was a scouting mission and not a mission to dominate the scoreboard for the Sharks anyway.
All right. Well, obviously, Nashville has a good atmosphere. How was it for you tonight?
It was all right. I came out with my lovely boyfriend who wore his Thrasher jersey.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. So he got a lot of compliments on that. Everybody here is fairly all right, but like the chanting is really it's very soccer. Like there's just a lot of soccer chanting, and it's really strange because I don't think Nashville is necessarily a hockey town, but they're a Smashville town. So they like their sports teams, but they don't necessarily truly have a whole comprehensive understanding of the entire league. And I don't blame them for it. You know, that's not what they're hired to do. They're hired to put butts in the seats, and they put their butts in the seats, and they chant the chants, and they buy the beers, and they have a good time. And that's the product they're sold, and that's what they bought into. So I had a good time. Like the product that the Bridgestone Arena sells is great. There's great alcoholic boozies here. The food here, I mean, like even the hot dogs, the burgers, the grilled chicken sandwiches, all of the venue food is super dope. The music is good. Everything is great. Like everything about what an in-house product should be. The Predators have it, and that's why they're like voted by Polestar. You know, it's really super. Like all of us know Polestar. That's why they were voted #1 sports franchise. But hey, you know, like I get it, and this place is pretty cool. I think that the Predators are a really good team, and I've said that for most of the season. Am I Predators fan? No, embarrassed to even be associated with those people. But like I said, on ice product, amazing. So as a Sharks fan, I'm disappointed. Not really, because I came into this knowing Aaron Dell was going to start, Eric Fair was going to be on the ice, Yannick Hansen was going to be on the ice. I was like, okay. So I just really have a feeling this was a big, like, Sharks kind of knew this was like out of all the trips, all of the games left in this road trip, this was going to be the most unwinnable. So this was the chance that they took to showcase the guys that they did because they want to get as many points as possible. So win all the games that you can and forget about the games that you can't and use those games for other things like shopping out your backup goalie for future considerations because, hey, we're doing a mini rebuild right now, hopefully. And that's kind of what I got out of tonight.
All righty. Rocket, it's great to see you. It's great to see you at a Sharks game again. I hope you gave them as much of a fun time as you and I did during the playoffs last year.
No, these people are terrible. If there's 30 seconds left in a period, they will all stand up regardless of where they're sitting and completely block your view. They have absolutely no sort of comprehension of how hockey etiquette works. They're just Smashville fans. I can't, but at the same time, there's like no announcement from the PA saying, like, stay seated while the puck is in play. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's none of that. None of that. So none of these people know. Like, they don't teach these people hockey culture, which is a little disturbing, but hey, whatever sells seats. So good job on selling seats, I guess, but bad job on selling hockey.
What was there more of tonight? Burrito intake or tears cried?
You found it! I had 2 street tacos and I got the chills for maybe about 45 seconds. I didn't cry. I thought I would have. I honest to God thought I was going to cry, but I didn't cry. I danced a lot. I didn't cry, though.
Oh, man. Well, Rocket, it's great to see you at a Sharks game. Sorry the outcome wasn't the greatest, but I'm glad you had a good time. Tell the boyfriend that is a sweet jersey, and all the best to you. Get home safely.
And just think, you get to do it all again in a month.
Yeah.
Right. I will be right back here March 22nd. Hopefully be able to do a post-game wrap-up with you guys as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah. No, March 29th.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Not 22nd, 29th.
How
I got
dare you,
the month. I'm a terrible Sharks fan. I'm going to turn in my Teal tomorrow. Oh, I'm terrible.
She probably is tired from, teaching people how to make sharkaritas in Nashville.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Oh, hey, by the way, today is National Margarita Day.
No, I think you pronounced sharkarita incorrectly.
Yeah, I know I did, but they don't make sharkaritas here because they're like, what's with this weird green color? I actually had like some dude try to chirp at me with like, why are you wearing so much of this weird green? And I went, actually, if you know anything about the gang war history in California in the 1990s, you'll understand why they picked this weird ass color instead of a blue or a red. And they were like, oh yeah, I understand that. That's all right. That's cool. And it's like, don't chirp me, bro. I know the history. I know why this is a goofy color. All right, it's a goofy color, yeah, but there's a legit reason why they picked it. It wasn't just like, well, my wife thinks it's a pretty color, and I want to stay in good favor with my wife, which is, I mean, let's face it, Nashville. That's what it would have been if y'all were Nashville Teal. Was like, my lady wanted Teal and I didn't, but I didn't want to break up my happy home. So gang wars or an unhappy marriage, you pick whichever makes more sense to you. It's an origin story.
You know what? When the Jacksonville Jaguars are wearing teal next season, all of a sudden they'll get the color a little bit. It just has to be on a football team, and then they're fine.
Yeah. You are 100% or not, AJ. These people do not understand anything but football. It'd be better off if it was college football, because around here they're not interested in athletes over the age of 24. Like, they have an entire show on the radio dedicated in the afternoons talking about nothing but high school football. These are grown men talking about teenage boys. And it's supposed to be not homoerotic at all. Come the fuck on.
Is it sponsored? Are those shows sponsored by the GOP or something?
Oh, jeez.
The GOP and the Roman Catholic Diocese. Yeah, something like that.
We went there, didn't we? Oh,
Leave it to me. Leave it to me to just piss everybody off. Sorry, guys.
All right, Rocket. Love you. Get home safe.
Love you too, guys.
Have a good
See you next month.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was fun. Rocket, I freaking love you so much. And joined now by AJ Strong.
What's going on?
What's up, bud?
Let's see. Let me hit the mute button on Rocket.
There you go.
She's not screaming at us all the way going out.
All right. So before we even break this thing down, ow.
Yeah. Just this was more than a skosh.
Oh no, this is the complete opposite of skosh.
This was what a gash. I don't even know where to begin with this one. But Sharks haven't lost by this many goals in almost 2 months. So hey, silver lining.
You're going to have stinkers.
Yep.
Throughout the year, and unfortunately, there was the Tampa game at home earlier in the year. There was the New Year's Eve game where they, wanted to get on the plane to get schnockered.
Hey, I'd venture to say that game against LA, the second game of the season, was a bit of a stinker too.
Yeah, no, that also, of course, didn't help things.
We all remember the January 2nd game a couple of years ago versus Winnipeg, which was total, dog crap. And, look how far the Sharks went. I'm not saying that they're going to do that again this season, but hey.
in this sense, they get on the plane, head to Chicago, and they play tomorrow. I mean, that might be the best thing to happen, or not. We'll see. But we'll break down this game as painfully it might be. We'll get things going as Nick Bonino, minute 55 into the game. No Punjabi announcer needed here, folks.
Post-Teal syndrome.
Yes, post-Teal syndrome. Yes. If you weren't watching Twitter Mission Live with Brody and Curtis, Bonino was part of the trade that landed Travis Moan and Kent Huskins, those final two pieces for the Sharks to win the 2009 Stanley Cup. He gets his 9th of the season from Roman Yossi and Ellis to make it 1-0 Nashville. AJ, on this goal, I thought when Bonino was making his wraparound, he might have had interference there, but PDB decided not to do a challenge there. What did you think of it?
Well, I mean, PDB has rarely met a challenge he didn't like, but I'm no, I felt on that one, honestly, I felt like DeMello, I think, actually was a little more involved in that, or actually he should have been a little bit more involved in that play, trying to get the puck off Bonino's stick. And then Dell gets back to the other side, a little later than we all would have liked. So, goes in the net. Wasn't the greatest. But then again, hey, we saw a player for Team USA last night breaking ankles. So it happens.
We'll get to that later on.
Happens to the best of them.
No kidding. So that made it 1-0 Nashville. And then later in the period, Scott Hartnell, yes. And he didn't fall down, which is rarity. He gets his 10th of the season from Bonino and Yarncroc to make it 2-0 with just under a minute to go in the first. I mean, that first period wasn't exactly the best, but I thought the Sharks kind of held them up until they scored their second goal, despite being outshot 15-10.
Yeah, look, there's a reason Nashville's like where they are. They're a damn good team, defending Western Conference champs. And I thought the Sharks did play with them well for the first period. We've seen that, though, over the course of the last 10 games or so, where the Sharks have had a very good first period. Even if they come out of it down one goal, they've still had a good first period, something to build on. We have seen some decent comebacks. That one, though, boy, in the final minute, those, they're always backbreakers.
Yeah, the first and last minute, and unfortunately, in the first period, they had both. Not good, not good at all. And going into the second period, let's say there's a chance. Logan Couture somehow from behind the goal line gets it past some crevice of Pecorine. It's the only goal the Sharks would score tonight. Logan gets his 25th on the season from LeBanc and Braun to make it 2-1 at 8:37 of the second. We thought everything's going.
Here comes the comeback.
Yeah, here comes the comeback, because they were coming on strong. I thought Yannick Hansen had like 3 decent scoring chances through this game. I think a couple of them were in the second period.
Funny you bring him up, talking about his chances and then looking at his ice time at barely 9 minutes, and the only guy who was a -3 tonight. So clearly PDB not seeing something towards the second half of his game. I mean, first half was all right, but
yeah, no, that unit with Hansen. Well, no, they're not even together, are they? Hansen, Tierney, Bodker. Yeah, they are together. All -3s on the night. That's not going to help anything out. And you know what wasn't also going to help them out is a backbreaker insurance goal by Kevin Fiala. He gets his 19th on the year from Subban and Johansson at 15:57. The Sharks go down 3-1 in after 2 periods, and you thought, okay, they're still down by 3-1. They had a 2-goal deficit going in, 2-goal deficit going out. I mean, there was still a little chance on this night. And then the third period happened. Mind you, we didn't pull the goalie this period, folks. We didn't pull the goalie. Yeah, maybe we did when we had some power plays. And AJ, what I would warn you right now, get that power play drum ready. But in the third period, Nashville outshot the Sharks 19-13 and scored 4 goals. Oh my goodness. Victor Arvidsson at 3:49. Ryan Johansson, who is being a little feisty himself, gets his 8th at 6:30. Matthias Ekholm gets his 8th at 11 minutes. Kalle Jarnkrok gets his 15th at 17:51 to finish at the scoring. Oh, that one hurt. That period was a backbreaker, and the Predators sent a message to the Sharks and everybody. They are a legit team to be reckoned with in the Central. And that Central's crazy. But Nashville, wow.
It's a gauntlet. I mean, we were saying that on the Puck Knowledge this week, is that was something that the boys were going to have to deal with, and it sure as hell wasn't going to be easy, and it certainly wasn't. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Again, Nashville's number one for a reason. You look at it. I mean, they just exploded in the fourth. That, my friend, is how you finish off a game when you have a lead. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's how you do it. You don't let them get back into a game with one of those teaser goals that we always seen the Sharks do, and then they eventually falter. They lay the gauntlet down. They don't stop. What do we say before? Foot on the gas. And the thing is that the Predators did that while containing the Sharks, and for that matter, contained the Sharks on the power play. Oh, 0 for 5 tonight, AJ. Now I think, and I think
put back my power play drum.
0 for, was it 18 on the power play since that Vegas game?
No, 0 for 17 tonight.
17, sorry. As
if that really makes a difference at this point.
And now with the power play rant, here is AJ Strong.
Oh, I mean, they've had some opportunities. Of course, you get a couple of those split power plays, like one tonight where it's split between periods. Obviously hard to find a rhythm on the power play. And there have been a couple, quote unquote, power play influence goals. But, I go back to the Arizona game, lost 2-1, went 0 for on the power play. Power play would have been huge in that game. Mm-hmm. So tonight, they probably could have scored on their power plays and still lost this. So.
They went 5 for 5. If they went 5 for 5, they've only lost by 1.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? Did you say? Did you say 0 for 18?
Yeah, I thought it was 0 for 18.
No, you are correct. For some reason I had it in my mind that it was 0-4 tonight, not 0-5. I forgot about the last one. So yeah, 0 for their last 18. So yeah. I'm banging it.
Right. Let's go into chat.
More on the goddamn power play.
Right. In the chat, Steve Cropper, Sharks need an ass kicking every once in a while to get them pissed off. Too laid back. I would say yes on that, wouldn't you?
I can't give you a succinct answer because I really wasn't paying attention to the question. What?
I said the Sharks need an ass kicking every once in a while to get them pissed off. They shouldn't, but yeah,
they shouldn't. But yeah, I do believe that there are some teams that, for some reason they can't find it within themselves, so they need another team to like come along and kick their ass. I guess
The Gen X in the chat, no starfish, no minus.
Oh,
yes. Oh, and because it was the third goal by the Predators, he also said it's pronounced Kevin 3 by Della.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite surprised you didn't see a few more like what time is it jokes.
Yeah, no kidding. Ian, Sharks kind of checked out too because game tomorrow and all that. Yeah, I mean that's true. They might have
Yeah, this is a trap game. They were really looking forward to Chicago.
Well, normally in the last decade or so, you would say, you got to get prepared for Chicago.
Oh, and for the I saw one or two people Twitter chat whatever asking, they're like, what the hell is AJ wearing a Rangers jersey for? I just wanted to let you know I got it in the fire sale today. All I needed to do was trade them a shark sticker.
No. And man, did he ever get one? Because that's a very rare jersey that AJ has on. The rare white alternate Lady Liberty jersey that they think they only wore for like 1 or 2 years. Mike Nevis, hidden message in the AJ wearing Rangers jersey. Yes, he's going to blue shirts after dark after next season, folks. No. If anything, we'll be Sharks outsiders for some reason. Yes. So let's go over the stats.
Must we?
You know
what the best part of tonight's game is the fact that no one can sit there now and say we need to trade Jones because Dell's stats are better. Guess what, bitches?
Yeah, you know what? And there were some people who were like, okay, he's starting against the Predators, and then if he starts on Sunday, maybe they are showcasing him.
Fair. It's a I think it's a fair take on that. I think you'd see something. I think even Kevin Kerr's kind of said, or kind of alluded to that. So right. I think it's decent.
And it totally makes sense if that was the case. I'm just curious as to, how the Sharks traded for a reliable goal backup and Reimer to give Jones rest down the road for the year that they went to the Stanley Cup final. I'm kind of surprised if they do make a move. And granted, Dell is probably their most tradable asset with the best value right now. Are they willing to have Grosnick be the Reimer?
No, that's my whole thing. That's the reason why I just don't see Dell moving unless somebody overpays out the nose and they think that they can ride Jones from here on out. I don't see why you would make that move simply because Dell, I shouldn't say Dell, but Grosnick, the guys, down the food chain are just not as good.
Yeah. That's Steve, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but what year's Puckguy? If you're talking about AJ's jersey, I believe it was 99, 2000. I believe it was just around for like a year or so. Wait, no, I'm sorry. 98, 99 to 99, 2000, because Gretzky did wear that jersey one season. So, Ian in the chat, after what the Wings got from Mrazek, Sharks not getting for Dell. Yeah, that's true. Grosnick deserves to get an opportunity to be a backup. I
don't know that he's played that yet. He hasn't played. Yeah, I don't think he's played that well.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that sense. So let's get back to the stats here. Let's see here. Predators outshot the Sharks 46-34. I liked how the I think Brody and Curtis were expecting a low scoring affair, and it turns out to be 7-1.
I don't know why they would think that, but okay.
Yeah.
But see, that's that. I was just going to say that's the thing about this one. Dell let in a lot of shots, but the Sharks gave up 46 shots on goal.
Right.
Hello.
Right. Nearly almost 1 out of 7 shots, or 1 out of 8 shots, maybe. In that range. Face off. The Sharks actually won the face off battle 54-46.
And the new guy going 70%.
Yeah, no, it was excellent. Yannick Hansen had 100%. That was probably the best thing he did tonight. Logan Couture and Chris Tierney, however, went 33% in the face-off circle.
Well, they did face better competition.
That's true, but nonetheless, that's not good.
No, it's not good. Tracy in the chat asking, does Wilson get canned if the Sharks was the playoffs this year? No. Plain and simple, no. I honestly believe, and if I get the opportunity to find out, I'm just putting this out there, and I would love to be told, no, that's not the case at all, but I kind of feel like Doug Wilson has been given the keys by Hasso Plattner, who isn't, I don't want to call an absentee owner or landlord by any stretch, but let's face it, he can only be in this part of the world, like, what is it, 3 months out of the year legally, so he, and obviously he can get video feeds and he can see what he sees from Europe, but I feel like he's saying, here, Doug, keep doing whatever it is you're doing, but maybe Hasso might be starting to look at the attendance as of late and saying, maybe I do need to make a significant change. But if the Sharks miss this year, no, I don't think so. Or I should say, if for some reason Wilson is removed as GM, I don't think he'll be removed from the organization. I think he'll be,
he'll be promoted kind of like Paul Holmgren was with Philly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, after all, he's been with the organization, I think, outside of like 3 or 4 years. He's almost like the Drew Remenda of sorts in the player personnel side. He's only been around, or hasn't been around, like the first couple years after he retired from the NHL.
Yes, and Gen X, you're welcome.
Jeez. Somebody was asking for the Islanders fisherman jersey. I do have that somewhere, but it might take forever for me to find it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Moving onward, let's see here. 2-to-1 ratio Predators had over the Sharks in hits. Predators blocked 16 to the Sharks 12. Sharks had one more giveaway than the Predators at 15-14. But AJ, like we said, yikes. Pretty much fair, Goodrow, LeBanc, Carlson, and Burns were the only ones that weren't in the minus tonight.
So it's essentially like, the bottom line.
And everybody else except Joachim Ryan was a -2 on defense tonight. I saw a lot of criticism with Rockets boy Brendan Dillon. He did have a rough night tonight.
Well, and he took a dumb penalty too.
Yeah, he did. You know why he had a bad night?
Because Rocket was not able to have a burrito with him.
Exactly. If he actually had a burrito with Rocket, March 29th. Brendan. Heck, Paul Martin's with the team still, right? Come on now.
Yeah, right. And Steve in the chat saying, get like guys like Harvey and Graves and Malhotra to sign my New York jersey. No. If anybody's signing this, there's only going to be one name, Mike Richter. I loved watching that guy play.
Nice.
Richter was a madman.
Yeah, no, he was a great one. Or Messier, I would take for sure. All right. So anything to wrap on this game that you need to wrap on?
Yo, I'm gonna wrap on this. It's just, again, we covered it earlier, where go through the NHL schedule for every team, you're going to find a couple of games like this in everybody's schedule. Everybody craps the bed a couple times a season. And hey, you know what? Get it out of your system now, and move on. We knew that the Central is a gauntlet to be a measuring stick, especially with the remaining, 22, 23 games left, and the majority of them in the Central, or at least half of them, are versus Central opponents. So this is a great litmus test for the Sharks. And like I said, when we had Rocket on, they get another crack at these guys in a month.
Yeah.
So, and back in Smashville. So, hey, get it, as they say there, get her done.
Right. And you know what, for that matter, that road trip is also a mega huge road trip. I think you go back to Nashville, you go back to Chicago, you go back to Minnesota, and then you go back to
you go back to St. Louis, not Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, so I said, St. Louis, sorry.
Yeah.
And then you go back to Vegas.
Yep.
I mean, in that spot is where the Sharks might clinch a playoff spot, or they might actually get out of a wild card spot. If and that would be, talking about a Central Division gauntlet with Vegas added onto it. Yikes.
Well, who would you say right now is the team that you're most fearful in the division of overtaking the Sharks? I mean, because we've seen Anaheim, LA, Calgary just keep, swapping places. 2 days ago, LA was third. Now it's Anaheim, but Anaheim's played 2 more games.
Mm-hmm.
But who are you worried about?
You know what? I think it's Anaheim right now. Before the deadline, I would say Anaheim, because I just think their team is all pulled together. Now, granted, Jeff Carter's starting to skate again with the LA Kings. Mm-hmm. You're going to look at that.
Got a pretty nice trade-off last week.
Yeah, they got Wedgwood and Reeder. You also got Dion Phaneuf has played well for them since coming over from Ottawa.
Now, the one thing that you kind of can sit there and go, okay, well, that's when you kind of like put in the back pocket of LA is that 2 of their next 3 games are versus Vegas. They're doing a home and home with Vegas next week. So that could be pretty solid for you. But if you go through the rest of their schedule, they play some key games. I mean, they have to play the Blues. They got to play the Capitals. They got to play the Devils. They got to play Winnipeg. They got to play Minnesota, Calgary. Obviously, they're going to be fighting. But then they do have a couple what you might say are gimme games, like a couple versus Arizona, a couple versus Edmonton. And at least the schedulers got their end of season or at least got them to play the Ducks on the way out. But and they finish with Minnesota and Dallas, not pushovers. So the LA Kings schedule, not the easiest. Whereas if you look at Anaheim, to your point, their next 2 games, Arizona and Edmonton, 2 lower teams. And obviously because of their location in comparison with LA, they're going to face a lot of the same teams just because of the way the whole, road trip, if you go through LA, it'd be stupid to be in LA and then not face Anaheim in that trip. So a lot of the same people. But looking at the schedule, when you talk about the away games, it's pretty close. Anaheim still has to go to Nashville, and that's back to back. It's at Nashville, and then the next night at Dallas. That's not going to be easy. Mm-hmm. They have to face Winnipeg. So I tell you, boys, it's really going to be like the Central is going to kind of decide who the top 3 in the Pacific are.
Yeah, it's going to decide who gets in from the Pacific.
Yeah.
Big time.
And the Flames are up 5-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, as we
throw that in the mix, if they win, then they jump into 4th and push LA down to 5th. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, my bad. They tie LA. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. So with that, AJ, do you want to do the intro?
And now it's time for the NHL wraparound.
I tried to keep it clean that time.
Wow! You actually call it the wraparound. That's awesome.
I did it that time.
Nice.
I was trying to do it I was giving it kind of a Michael Buffer thing, and he always kept it clean.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the Edmonton Oilers just won in overtime. They defeat the Colorado Avalanche 3-2. Guess who got the game-winning goal, AJ?
I'm sorry. Who did you say won? The Oilers?
Yes.
Matt Nieto? No, I'm kidding.
Monty.
Oh, come on, give me a second. Well, of course, the answer has to be Connor McDavid, but that almost seems too easy.
Well, you would be correct, sir. Connor McDavid, his 27th on the year at 219. Wins it for the Oilers. Draisaitl and Cassian also scoring for the Oil. Girard and Wilson for the Avalanche. The 2 games in progress right now. 5-1, as AJ mentioned earlier. The Flames are beating up on the Desert Dogs.
Hey now, all right.
There you go. You're welcome. In that game, you have Bennett, Goodrow, Monahan, Jankowski, Kachuk, all scoring for the Flames. Derek Stefan scored 57 seconds into the game to make it 1-0 Arizona. It's been all downhill since. In Los Angeles, they just began the second period. It is no score between the Kings and the Stars. We'll keep you updated on that if that changes.
That's gonna be pretty big, boy, especially with the Flames up right now.
Yeah. And going back to finals tonight in Toronto, the Leafs win in a shootout 4-3 over the Islanders as Marner, Riley, and Matthews score for the Leafs. Pulak, Barzal, man, jeez. Wow. And Eberle get the goals for the Islanders as Halak takes the loss. Anderson with the win, a huge win for the Leafs as they try to catch up with the Bruins now. Islanders they get a point that keeps in the wild card race. Speaking of the wild card race, in the East, the Devils lose 4-2 with Riley, Eriksson Ek, Stewart, and Stahl getting his 900th point late in the third period there.
Also of note in that one, Alex Stalock almost scored.
Yeah. Post-Teal syndrome for Stalock, and good on him for being the backup now for Minnesota. But speaking of New Jersey,
have a trade to announce.
Yes, go figure, folks.
Never.
Hell has frozen over literally in New Jersey. The Rangers trade with the Devils as they send Michael Grabner to New Jersey.
I thought you were going to talk about the 2 jerseys I picked up for a Shark sticker, but okay.
Yeah. No, but Michael Grabner, who's been on a nice tear for the Rangers, goes to New Jersey as the Devils trying to make a push for the playoffs where they haven't been in quite some time. But the Wild get the victory tonight, 4-2 over the Devils. In Philly, Peter Mrazek gets the win in his Flyers debut as they beat the Neon Buggers from Columbus 2-1. Panarin gets the only goal for the Blue Jackets. Giroux and Nolan Patrick get goals in the third period for the Flyers as they try to stay in the wild card race, while the Blue Jackets, who had the second wild card, are doing it right now.
No. Can we point out that the current Sharks goalie did not win tonight, but 2 former Sharks goalies did?
Yes, and that would be Antti Niemi. Yes, Antti Niemi. I can hear right now Alex Martinet is waking up and is about to say, did somebody say Niemi in the chat? Just a moment. Gets the win for the Montreal Canadiens as they beat the Rangers 3-1. Kevin Hayes, the lone goal scorer for the Rangers. He gets his 15th on the year late in the third. However, Plekanec, Petrie, and Deneau all score for Montreal as they finally get to 54 points on the campaign. In Ottawa, or well, technically Canada, Ontario.
Pronounced Canada.
Okay. The Lightning win 4-3 over the Ottawa Senators. Johnson, Hedman, Nemestikov, and Braden Point get goals for Tampa Bay. Zingle. Oh, jeez. Excuse me 1 sec. Wait a minute.
Well, what, Barolecki? Is that what you're having a problem with?
Yeah.
Brassard? I mean, what's the problem?
Borvietsky. Jax is going to kill me for that. Oh, well.
Oh, I like mine better.
Brassard. All get goals for the Ottawa Senators. Louis Domingue with the win for Tampa Bay. Craig Anderson with the loss for the Sens. In overtime. Wait, sorry, since it's Buffalo. And the Sabres win in overtime. Martin Scandella, his third of the season with 1 second left in overtime, gives the Sabres a 3-2 win over the Detroit Red Wings. Wow. Ristolainen and Evander Kane for the Sabres, while Eriksson and Applicator for the Red Wings. That Applicator goal came late to tie the game up. It's two teams that are looking like they will not make the postseason battle it out. In Sunrise, an emotional night, as it's the first game after the school shootings in nearby Parkland. We can look up Luongo's speech online. He had a very potent speech before the game, but the Panthers beat the Capitals 3-2 tonight. Let's see here. Bugstad gets the game winner. I'm sorry, ties the game up with 16-18, and Vincent Trocheck gets the winning goal with 20 seconds left on the power play to give the Panthers a 3-2 win. Of course, we know about the Sharks and Predators. Updates right now. Still no score with the Stars and Kings, and the Flames have gone final. They beat the Coyotes 5-2.
You know what I need right now is I need the sound file of Nelson from The Simpsons. Pretty much, yeah. That's what I need.
Yeah. So with that, let's take a look at the standings right now. As in the East, Washington is at 75, Pittsburgh 74, Philly at 74. Wow. My goodness, if there's ever flex games on NBC, gee, I wonder which division they're going to cover.
That's a tough one. That's a close call there, close call. But I think we're getting the idea of why Philly made the deal they did.
Yep, and they're going to make a run. Give them credit after a 10-game losing streak, and they're making this crazy run right now. That's unbelievable. Good on them. In the Atlantic, look at that race too. Wow, that race has kind of tightened up a little bit, haven't they?
Dude.
Toronto's win gets them to 81. Boston's at 82. Tampa is like at 85 with that victory. Just think if they lost to Ottawa in regulation tonight, that race in the Atlantic would be tight.
Tight.
In the
well, hold on though. That's another thing though. Is that we're getting down to the nitty gritty, shall we say? So this is the point when you have to take into account: do these teams that are like just so like but puckered up, do they face each other? Well, hello, Saturday night, Toronto versus Boston, and followed up 2 days later at Tampa Bay. So kids, the next 2 nights of Toronto Maple Leaf hockey are going to be worth watching there a little bit, and then looking at the schedule, they face Tampa one more time in March at Tampa, but unfortunately do not face Boston again. So yeah, the next two Toronto Maple Leafs games, you might want to tune in for this.
Yeah, those are going to be good ones. The wild card right now, and this is where the trade tonight kind of takes precedence for the New Jersey Devils. They have the wild card right now at 70 points. I mean, look at the gap right now. We talk about how tight the Western Conference is. Look at the gap between the wild card teams and the division leaders. I mean, wow, that's crazy. Columbus at 65. The Islanders are at 65. Carolina is at 64. The Panthers trying to hang in there at 60. The Rangers, while they're trading away assets, are still in the race at 59. Hell, Detroit's still in it, for crying out loud.
Well, let's not get crazy.
No, we're not going to get crazy. That would be like saying Vancouver's still in it.
Oh, did somebody say Vancouver?
Yes, but we're not playing Vancouver. My bad. Sorry. In the West, Nashville's win gets them to 83 points. They get a little bit of a cushion now with the Winnipeg Jets, who are at 79. Minnesota holds down the number 3 spot now in the Central at 73.
Seems like just a week and a half ago, Winnipeg had like the Central, I don't want to say sewn up, but had a healthy go of it.
Right. And it's just amazing how one loss will change everything.
Well, and Nashville with a 3-game winning streak too. I mean, just boom, boom, boom.
Right. In the Pacific, Vegas still has the 10-point lead on the Sharks at 74, but this is where it gets interesting again, folks. Anaheim at 73. The wild cards, Dallas at 72, St. Louis at 72. I mean, the tight for the number 3 spot and the 2 wild cards in this are separated by 1 point. Then you look on the teams that are on the outside, looking at LA playing right now, a huge game that would probably if LA wins tonight, they would leapfrog into the number 3 spot. But they're at 71 right now as of this recording. Colorado's loss puts them at 69. Pick it. It's hilarious. The same thing with Calgary. They're both at 69 points. I have a
Calgary has 71. That's not.
Yeah, that's up. Yeah, let's try.
Okay, but with the New York fire sale happening, do you think that the Rangers could find anybody to take Lundqvist's contract with 3 more years left on it at 8.5 per?
Oh no. Unless
that's why I don't like.
See it.
That's why I don't like seeing these ridiculous contracts. Like, I'm sorry, I think Burns. Now, granted, would somebody else have given Burns that deal? Yes, they would. Yep. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
No,
nope. And so when you see it get to this point, when it's literally a fire, I mean, if I'm Lundqvist, I want to get the hell out of there. Like, oh, for Pete's sakes, really with this? But anywho, somebody asking about Canucks. Are they buyers or sellers?
Oh, they're sellers.
Yeah,
they're gonna look for homes for Vanek, Hutton.
The other thing being too is that maybe they get like, I don't know, a bag of pucks to try to trade away the Sedin's rights. I mean something, but that's
a lot of cap room that you got to find.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of that, and of course, they're probably not going to find anybody to take that. But Hank said he already wanted to end his career as a. Well, all right, well, good on him. You know what? I appreciate it. And you know what? He clearly has 8.5 million reasons to do that over the next 3 years.
And I'm sure he's got a nice no move.
Of course. But when it comes to Vancouver, though, that team, they kind of scare me in a couple years. Horvat and Besser. I mean, they got some talent over there. Mm-hmm. They're going to, free up some nice cap space after the Sedins are gone. Boy, they, and they've given that extension to Benning, so they clearly believe in his vision and philosophy going forward. So if, Jim Benning doesn't screw the pooch, the Vancouver could get serious here in the next couple seasons.
Yeah, and they've done a great job. I mean, they were really hesitant to rebuild, but now they've been doing it. They got some players in the meantime that will help, like Del Zotto and Gagne, to kind of get them bridge over to the finish the rebuild of sorts. But,
I don't mean to be. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the chat just because somebody. You've heard the. I don't know who it started with. You've heard that stupid truncation of because people evidently were just too it was too difficult to utter Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, so they had to say Bennifer. Or they can't, they're too lazy to say Jennifer Lopez, so they have to say J-Lo. And same thing with Jennifer Lawrence, there's J-Law and all these stupid things. But what I saw in the chat just made me think of this. Wouldn't it be funny if Bo Horvat's like contracted name was Borat? And every time he scores, it's like, very nice. Very nice. That should be his nickname on the team. Borat, every time he scores. Very nice.
So you're saying, here comes Borat. Borat scores. Very nice. Very nice.
Yes, I would take that. I would have no problem.
Thank you.
With that.
You're welcome with that. With little short house impersonation there. Like Ian said, he celebrated his extension with the Goody contract. Yes, he did. That's for sure.
Evidently, Sharks in-game host made some bet with somebody about if the Preds won, that he would take a pie to the puss. We're evidently waiting on a video for that.
Come on, John. We know you. You know you watch us. Come on.
Again, hell of a nice guy.
Great guy. Nice guy.
Like nice to a fault. I still don't think there's a need for his job with the Sharks. With the Barracuda, absolutely. With the Sharks, I'm sorry. And again, that's not a knock on him. It would be if I had that job, I would be going, why am I here? I shouldn't be required for this. I'm sorry. I don't get the whole needing an in-game host, but that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, Danny did it for a number of years before they let Joe.
And he was perfect at it.
Yeah. So, and speaking of which, we got to try and get a hold of him because it would be great to talk to him about his experience in Pyeongchang with the hockey tournament. And speaking of the hockey tournament, did you stay up last night to watch that gold medal game?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I was like, totally. You know, I actually, what was, okay. So last night, I will say, like, I missed like the first half of the game because I was interested in, I pay attention to the news from time to time as well. And there was a town hall session about the, with the students from Parkland. So I was watching that. But yeah, I did kick over. When I kicked over, the score was 1-1. So, but I was excited, and I was into it. And then 2-1, and I went, oh, here it goes. And then when the U.S. tied it up, I went, oh, wait a minute.
See, here's the thing on this, to throw a little backstory in. Yeah, I was supposed to be off.
Ian saying he's leaving the chat now because Canada lost.
Hey,
like, they're on to this. I'm out of here. Forget it.
Oh, we were just gonna send the invite too. No, I'm kidding, Ian. No, you're totally fine, Ian. That Canada has nothing to be ashamed of from that game last night. They played their butts off.
And from what I understood and what I read on Twitter, both teams, it was kind of like the officials at one point seemed to favor one side, and then later in the game they seemed to favor the other sides.
Oh man, the officiating was awful.
The officiating was crap. And then if I remember correctly, didn't Canada get a power play with like a minute and a half left in the OT?
Yeah,
after swallowing their whistles the entire time.
Mm-hmm. But USC had 6 chances. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, where's AJ's power play drama here? My God.
When I was watching this, and granted, I understand it's a different sort of game. I mean, because the ice surface looks huge.
It's 200 by 100. It's 15 feet wider than the NHL size.
Yeah, but I mean, holy crap, what a difference. But the thing for me that was kind of driving me a little nuts in the OT was it seemed like every time one of the USA players got into the ozone, there were like 3 Canada players right on top of her.
Oh,
and I'm like, where's the support? Mm-hmm. And it seemed like the US was just like afraid to either pinch or bring everybody into the ozone. They always had 2 players dropped in the neutral, and it was like they were just waiting for Canada to make a mistake or something or overcommit so they could try to, take advantage going the other way. I mean, excuse me. And obviously that worked for them on that second goal because that was a great breakaway and a fantastic shot.
Oh, yeah, and that was just a defensive breakdown by Canada. But like Ian said, it was a hell of a run. Sabados, Shannon Sabados was a freaking machine. I mean, she was unreal for about 53 minutes of that game last night. I mean, that was a crazy run. But it's just, you hate to see it, but it's like the officiating played a key role in it. And granted, I take it back. I think they did score a power play goal, but I mean, it kind of changed Canada's playing, I thought, early on. And unfortunately.
Well, I'm sorry. Ian Reed just made he's making the same point that I kept making when I saw the memes coming out where they're like comparing it to the Miracle game, and it was like this doesn't have anything remotely to do with that. You're talking hello, nations, the Cold War. I mean, we're not even talking about the two same countries, for Christ's sake. How would you make that comparison whatsoever?
In the problem with that comparison is that these teams have met over and over and over again for the women's hockey gold medal. I mean, I think like outside, I think maybe it was 2006 that they didn't meet up. It would be like Korea beating Team Canada. That'd be something like that. It'd be something like
Eric or Ian right now going, okay, let's not lose our heads.
Well, no, but I mean, that would be the women's version of Miracle on Ice, in my opinion. But I mean, the U.S. team was stacked. They after Sochi, where they were essentially a minute away from winning gold there, and then having Poulin too for Canada. Holy crap, that gal is a beast too. It's just like it's just crazy, but nonetheless. Jocelyn Lamoureux. Oh my goodness. That was dirtier than Donskoy, as I said last night. Oh man, man.
Ankle breaker.
Oh man. And then Rooney makes that big save against Augusta to win it. But KM in the go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, see, I don't get the opportunity, unfortunately, to watch a lot of this. So this is one of the first I've ever seen an Olympic game go to a shootout. I've never seen that before, and I didn't know what the rules were. So I was expecting best of three, and when it went to best of three, I went, oh, and then all of a sudden, well, as you know, this is different. This is actually best of five, and then after 5 rounds, they can go back to any shooter they want. And I'm like, oh, what kind of dog and pony show is this?
Yeah.
What?
It's different in international rules. So during the preliminaries and the medal round up until last night, it's a 10-minute 4-on-4. Then they go to a 5-person shootout. Then last night, it's a 20-minute overtime where they get an intermission, of course. And then they go into the shootout. But you remember 4 years ago when TJ Oshie kept being the shooter in the shootout against Russia? It's crazy like that. But KM in the chat, you guys may know there were 10 women with NHL last names: Keller, Irwin, Morin, Kessel, Nurse, Jenner, etc. How many of them are actually related to NHLers? Well, we know Amanda Kessel, of course. Nurse is related to Darnell Nurse of the Oilers. I think Irwin is related to Matt Irwin. I'm not certain on that. Yeah, and I agree. It was
clearly she got all the talent in the family. No, I'm kidding.
Wow!
I'm kidding. But I literally have a Matt Irwin stick up there. So give me a break, people.
Yeah, but here's the question, AJ, and it kept coming up as I was disgusted by it. I would absolutely hate if Gary Bettman got into his head. Well, That was a great gold medal game, and I love how it decided. We're just going to play one overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs and then go to a best-of-5 shootout to decide the winner of that game.
No, snipers would take rooftop positions if that was the case. No, you can't do that. That
Canada
would Canada. You think? Yeah, remember Vancouver in 2011? That would be the entire country if that were to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so forget. That's never gonna happen. Never get. Besides, too, dude, they love it when they get like triple overtime. Do you know what that does for ratings?
Oh my god!
And concessions at sports bars and stuff. You know, what was that one game? Oh my god, there was a San Francisco Giants playoff game that went 18 innings. Was that against the Washington?
Yep, it was game 2, the NLDS against the Nationals.
Yeah, and that was the one that Ishikawa went yard, right? Or was it Brandon Belt?
That was Belt.
Belt, yeah. Okay,
Ishikawa won the NLCS.
Yeah, okay, so Brando goes yard in like 18th or 19th? 18th, right? Well, by the time, and that wasn't that game like in Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time, and it was like it was like a 7:00 local start. So by the time that happened, it was like 4:00 in the morning in on the East Coast, right?
No, I think it actually started like 4:00 East Coast time, and then it ended like at around midnight.
No.
Because I know it was still light outside. I thought.
No. This was later because I remember them saying something. Yeah, if it wasn't that game, maybe it was the Ishikawa game. I would have swore it was that. Okay, I'm in saying it was almost midnight. Hold on, midnight local time or midnight here when it ended?
I think it was midnight local time, or midnight in DC. I'm pulling up the box score. You keep talking.
Okay, well, it's just I remember a specific game. Okay, Rob's saying it started at 5:00 Eastern.
Yeah,
time?
It started at 5:38 local time. The duration was 6 hours 23 minutes.
Well,
so that game ended like literally at 12:01 a.m.
Okay, was it that athletics game like 3 or 4 years ago that went like?
Oh yeah, there
like
was something
20 innings or something.
Yeah, I think that one ended like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so but it was like 4 in the morning on the East Coast or whatever. I mean, there was some game like that where it ended at like 3:34 in the morning. The point being, it was a team, a local Bay Area team here in one of these games that went that long. And Finnerty's, the well-known New York bar that is where you go to in New York if you're a fan of Bay Area sports teams. They said that was the most amazing and awesomest thing ever. It's like, do you understand how much booze we sold? Because all these people just get like, there was a group of people that just said, screw it, we're staying up all night. Like, there's no reason to go to bed. We got to go to work in 2.5 hours, so forget it. I'm not gonna lose my buzz. So they're just, they were like, boom, let's go. So either way, yeah, to get back to the point, the NHL would never switch to that. They love oh my God, every time it goes to another OT, they literally hear cash registers, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching,
Mm-hmm.
They're all good with that. Although, you know what I would like to know? Hey, Rocket's home. If she wants to jump back on, by all means. What I would like to know is, obviously, and this is, I guarantee you, Gen X is going to have an answer for this. But what happens when because let's be honest, when you sell advertising for games, you're expecting the games, you have all your set commercial breaks, 12 minutes, 8 minutes, 4 minutes, usually another one in there somewhere. So you've got your set commercial blocks. I mean, it's called a TV timeout for a reason. These are built into it. What happens when these go into overtime? Like, what are these commercials that are on deck? Do they just run through the same spots that they ran in the first period?
For baseball?
No, for hockey, when they go to overtime, because hockey was unexpected.
No.
Just like extra innings or extra time, overtime in any game.
Yeah, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, they don't have TV timeouts except for that one when they fixed up the ice at the 10-minute mark where they shovel the ice there. They might get a commercial here or there in.
No, but
that's
okay, but say it goes to double overtime. They're not, they don't talk for 15 minutes straight, right? Isn't there some commercials in there?
Oh yeah, for intermission, yeah, there's ads, but that's it.
But they obviously didn't plan on those, so that's where I'm wondering. Like, there must be some sort of contingency built within their contracts for that. Like, if this game goes to overtime, blah blah blah, and if there's a set price and yada yada yada.
Oh sure,
that's all.
I'm sure that there's like, oh, if it goes into overtime, this is the deal.
And let's be honest, that is really what makes NHL hockey in overtime the best, is no TV timeouts.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like you're on pins and needles in the fourth overtime. It's 12:30 in the morning. Do you really need to put the toothpaste ad on right now? No. But yeah, I mean, it's but I'm glad. I mean, like in the chat, I think Ian said it, Rob Iman said it. I'm glad Bettman doesn't change rules just to continue cater to well, I'm not going to get into that part, but you know, that's the thing. And Jerry, on the same thing, I could see NBC moving OT periods to CNBC or something like that. Well, we've seen it where I think they actually just keep the game going on that, and they spill over the beginning of the next game onto NHL Network until the other one is over.
Oh yeah, that. Pointing out intermission commercial breaks or blocks are chargebacks to the advertisers, so that and they run set ads from the opt-in ones. So
gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we all knew Jen would know the answer. Yeah,
but
that is I mean, he makes a point though. I mean, there's been talk about trying to make some more changes in football to try to tighten up those games a little bit because they've gone long. And have you heard about the rule changes now this season in Major League Baseball, where they're like limiting the amount of visits to the mound you can have now? They're limiting like it used to be, you would get like a set amount of warm-up throws if you came in, right? Or some, or you'd get a couple warm-up throws during the TV timeout. And now they're basically saying you get, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, throw as many pitches as you want, but you've got guys that hustle to the mound. Like, I mean, hypothetically, let's say Cueto, has a good run. Like, he's not in a hard sprint, but say Cueto has a nice run to the mound. Whereas we've seen Mad Bum, that dude it's a leisurely stroll to the mound. So if he gets out there, he can only do like 3 pitches, whereas Cueto can fire off like 12, So
right.
Either way, and AO saying baseball games are too damn long. I to a certain degree, yeah, I agree with you, but it depends. Do you expect the game that is 15-12 to be longer than one that is 2-0? Absolutely. But yes, they could do more to speed baseball up a little bit. But Laurel is saying no baseball talk.
No,
so anyway,
it's so sorry.
But Ian saying hockey's already happy with how long their games take at this time. Yeah, and they are. Although I still do wish that they would go back to blocking out 3 hours instead of 2.5 hours, because I have yet to see a Sharks game end.
Any game.
Within the 2.5 hour block. It's usually right about 2:42 to 2:45. It's just silly. Just block out the whole 3 hours, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. So with that, if you've missed anything or want to watch this again and watch AJ's wardrobe conversion,
or Rocket's first ever check-in from Bridgestone.
That's true. You can catch us on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, or YouTube. You can find us everywhere. And if we don't find you on everywhere, you can tell us so that way we can be everywhere. All right.
We will find you.
We will find you. And we will podcast for you.
Oh, wait a minute.
There you go.
Hold on.
I don't know who you are, but I will find you, and I will make you listen to this podcast. Stay pucky, my friends.
That was just an amalgamation.
And with
that was such a mashup.
And with that, AJ just has his next 2 introductions for the Pucknologists. So Chicago tomorrow night. Chicago's not the same as they used to be, but the Sharks are coming off a rough loss. What are you expecting, Mr. Strong?
I'm expecting a better game than tonight, obviously. I'm hoping that Hurdle also was maybe shaking off a little bit of rust. Because, going into this one, you're facing the best team in the West, and you're doing it when you're getting a brand new player injected into the system. You're bringing back a player that was out for a week or so. You're going to have some growing pains on both of those. You got your okay backup in there. Again, I think all of us were a bit shocked that Dell got this start and not Jones when you're in a back-to-back situation, which I'm sorry. I think that is the primary reason that people are saying is Dell being shopped. And how could you not? Because if Dell wins this with, a 9.5 or 950 and stops 33 goals and, just has a ridiculous save percentage. I mean, hello. It's like, hey, this backup just stoned the best team in the West. We might want to take a longer look at this guy. He might be worth some cash. The fact that he got shocked for 7 goals, and maybe the bloom is off the rose just a skosh. So I'm a little surprised about that. But hopefully we see Jones, have a great game. Let's see the boys have a better game tomorrow. I wouldn't mind seeing Heed get a start over DeMello. I haven't been thrilled with DeMello's play as of late, so I will take that. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So we will be back with you following the Sharks and Chicago Blackhawks. That game starts at 5:30 on NBC Sports California. Brody and Curtis will be on a half hour before. Of course, don't forget Dan Ruzanowski on the Sharks Radio Network if you're unable to get to the TV or your mobile phone in time. Yes, Mr. Strong.
AO pointing out in the chat, the one positive tonight is that Bodker did not score. No, I was kind of bummed about that because I thought if Bodker scored tonight, like not only would Jerk have to still be on the hook for the jersey, he'd have to like buy the rest of the outfit. Like he'd have to get Bodker shorts, Bodker socks, Bodker helmet.
Did you see my tweet earlier today?
No.
Oh, see, I put out a tweet. I said, well, Dylan needs a score for Rocket in Nashville, and if he does, I'm going to buy a Brody Brazil Sharks jersey.
But would you get 9 or 6 put on it?
Oh, geez, I would get 6.
Dude,
that's the one he wears.
If I were you, dude, troll job, you have 6 put on the back. So when he sees it from afar, he's like, oh, hey, that's cool. But then you put 9s on the sleeves.
Oh, man. So maybe we should make this a thing. If Brendan Dillon scores another goal this season, or this regular season,
I don't think that's unheard of.
You don't think so? That's not a stretch?
No, I don't think. Seeing Dillon get 1 within the next, what do we got, like 22 left, 23?
Yeah.
I don't think it's unheard of to see Dillon get another one. If he were to get 2, I would play this game with you.
Should we play this game?
I will play this game.
All right. So if Brendan Dillon scores 2 more goals.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I literally have a leftover replica jersey that I can do this. Like I was like, oh man, I don't want to burn an authentic for this. I have a replica, left over. So yes, if Dillon puts 2 in the net between now and Saturday the 7th of April, I will do this. But I will only do this. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're gonna do a Brazil one. Oh, okay, never mind. I was thinking about getting one that said Dilly Dilly on the nameplate, but no, it's always got it.
Oh, you could do Dilly Dilly. No. I'll do Brazil.
No, this is going to be a Brazil thing.
Okay.
So so what I may do is you can go full Brazil, where 6, 6, 6. I, on the other hand, may decide to go 6 on the numbers on the back, 9s on the sleeves, and nameplate will say Brazili Zilly.
Oh God.
In honor of Dilly Dilly.
Oh gosh, that might be it. All right, so that's the deal. If he scores 3 goals this season, I have to do the Brazil jersey. If not, you do Brazili.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Literally
deal
have
on.
nothing better to do. Sure.
All right.
And we're through 2 periods in LA and still no score.
Oh jeez, and we're hour 15 in. So,
Lazy bastards. Okay.
Jeez. With that,
Gen X pointing out, whoa, no one needs Eric going full Brazil. We understand what you mean.
Kelly Clarkson. Oh, Cherry F saying Hansen hat trick. You just want him to score 1 goal. What are you talking about?
Let's be honest.
Yeah. All right. With that, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Tell all your friends. Like this if you really like this. And we'll be back with you tomorrow night following the Sharks and the Hawks. Hopefully they get their inner angry Joe out and take down the Hawks. And until tomorrow night, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a good night, everyone.